trying to do? Are we trying to create leads? Are we trying to uplift for a marketing campaign? Are we trying to reduce customer service issues? They haven't really put any business objective behind it, so no wonder they can't really produce an ROI. So let's look at a little bit about this is the marketing funnel, but now it's only in a circle, for those of you it may look familiar to you. But it didn't come out very well on the screen. The color starts with awareness. Traditional advertising creates awareness, right? We're now going to go down into, when we talk in an online environment, the traditional PPC, or pay-per-click, that you would get from Google. Now that creates awareness, consideration, intent, and sometimes even a purchase. But one way or not, you will still have a pay-per-click under those conditions, whether they buy or not. Now the next part of the equation is creating loyalty. We know about that, right? So keep the customer alive, customer lifetime value, so on and so forth. But really what we want to do now, the new term, and people are talking about this year, is advocacy. How do you take a loyal customer and have them perform an action that adds value, and more importantly, how do you track that? That's the wherewithal. And if you can track that, you can actually prove that that interaction, that engagement you had provided value, and then hence you will get an improved ROI. So these are some of the things that we're engaging in when we look at these different applications. An example of this is, I'm a Lincoln Navigator owner. Is there anyone from Lincoln Mercury in the room? Anyone? Anyone? No one. Love it. Absolutely love my Lincoln Navigator. Now, I know it's not the most popular car in the world. It's a gas car. But I love it for big trips and so on and so forth. They have never come and asked me to do a thing. And I would. In fact, I have stood up for the brand, and actually my sister-in-law bought one. But I never got rewarded for that referral. Did I? Nothing. In fact, through the years that I've owned, they haven't approached me about speaking for the brand. They've had me do surveys. I've done surveys, but then I've never heard anything back. And I always wondered, what happened to that survey I took with Lincoln Mercury? Why don't they bring me in? Why don't they do more with me? Why don't they ask me, because I am loyal and they know it, to do something? I'd be happy to, right? So that's what I would ask you guys to jot down. If you take anything away from this is, don't be afraid to ask your loyal customers to do something. They're happy to do it. So then the other aspect of this customer life cycle, what if you had these customers or these advocates surrounding your brand for a very long time, and then you came out with another product, and then they became advocates for that, kind of like a sleeper cell, you know, somebody that activates when you need them. What if you could re-incite them rather than recreate them with every campaign that you do? So this would provide a cyclical occurrence. And one other thing, I'm going to drill down into something technical here because it's relevant. And many of you, have you heard of EdgeRank? Have you guys heard of Facebook EdgeRank? Okay, so this will be valuable for you to know. What you need to know in the early days of Facebook, Facebook decided that they would open the fan pages and the wall up to brands. So you could actually post things there so that they could see them. When the brands got a hold of this, there's a post, it began to look like a spam. There was just so much information, the wall was just rotating so fast. Facebook literally had to put a stop to it and put what they put in is called an EdgeRank filter. And so while you're a brand and you're sending your information, you think it's reaching your fans, you may find in some case that it's not. Now that's an interesting occurrence because what we found, there is a way to get around that. It is if you have a Facebook application whereby in that application you're able to have a consumer share with a consumer. So if I have friends and I share with them, it always goes through. Facebook does not disallow that. So you need to consider that in your marketing campaigns whenever you're assessing technology and looking for those appropriate tools. Does that make sense?